What's up guys, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to walk you guys through how you can use MailGun and NodeMailer together to send an email. Well, without any further ado, let's get our hands dirty. So for this one, I'm inside a folder called send email, very basic. I'm going to go here and initialize a packet.json using npm init-y, and this is technically going to go ahead and create a packet.json for me. So once I have that packet.json created, I need a total of 2 packages. The first package that I need, it is something called NodeMailer. And the second package that I need, it is something called NodeMailer MailGun-transport. And once I do that, I make sure that I save that one as a dependency. All right, so once I have these 2 packages created, I can now go ahead and create a file called server.js. And server.js, it is going to be the file that contains every single NodeMailer configuration. So first thing I'd like to do here is go ahead and bring NodeMailer itself. Now after I bring NodeMailer, I'd like to bring the NodeMailer MailGun-transport. And there you go, I bring these 2 packages right there. So once I import these 2 packages that I need, in order to configure MailGun with NodeMailer, I need a total of 4 steps. Step number 1, I need to go here and define the authentication for NodeMailerGun. And this one here is going to contain an auth, and inside this auth is going to contain API_key, and here it's going to be containing the key from my MailGun account. Remember, we do not have the MailGun account. We're going to go ahead and create it, but before that, there's actually an extra key. And the second thing that we're going to need from the MailGun account, we're going to need something called domain. And we're going to walk you guys through how to get both of them, but let's leave them empty for now. And ladies and gentlemen, we are done with step number 1. Step number 2, in order to work with NodeMailer, we need what they call a transporter. And transporter is typically what's going to allow you to connect with whatever place you'd like to connect. In this case, I'd like to connect with MailGun. Well, the transporter is going to be what connect NodeMailer with MailGun. So in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and create this variable called transporter. And I'm going to use NodeMailer. In this case, I'm using this NodeMailer here. NodeMailer, and I'm going to use something called create transport. And once I use that, I need to call the NodeMailerGun, which is where I want to connect to. And once I use it like this as a function, I need to pass the NodeMailer configuration here, which is this OAuth. So I'll take that OAuth and pass this one as an extra parameter. And ladies and gentlemen, we are now done with step number 2. Step number 3 is where we're going to define our mail options, such as what do we want the user to see. And in this one, I have something called from, and this one is just saying excited, and this one is just a simple email coming from NodeMailer as a way to tell the user that this is what this email is coming from. Second, I'd like to have the to property here, and to it is important. It is because where we want to send that email. Well, in this case, we want to send this email to this particular email address. Third, I'd like to use the property subject just to kind of give it a subject for the user to instantly see the subject that is coming in. Last but not least, I also would like to have a text, and text is going to be the content of the body that's going to contain inside our email. And once again, guys, we use our from, to, subject, and text. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with step number 3, and now we only have 1 step remaining. In step number 4, all we need to do now is grab our transporter, which is this one. We're going to grab our transporter on step number 3, and we're going to use a function called send email. And the send email is going to contain the mail option inside step number 3. And we're going to copy this mail option and send it here. And after we've done that, we're now going to give it a callback. That's going to take 2 parameters. And here we're going to check and see if there is an error. We're going to console log that error. And else, if there's not an error, we're going to say message sent. Now we go in code base, we are done. Let's review it before we go and do any MailGun configuration. Step number 1, we go and set up our MailGun configuration. Step number 2, we use our transporter. We configure it with NodeMailerGun just to make sure that this is configured. And step number 3 is we configure our mail option. And step number 4, we're ready to send that email. Now we go in the code base. If you guys remember, on step number 1, we need those information from MailGun in order for us to be able to send this email. Remember, those information are coming from MailGun, but the question is, how can we get access to these 2 values? Well, in order to get access to these 2 values, we need to go here under mailgun.com, and once you go to this website, It should take you to this main page, but the bottom line, if you do not have an account, you need to sign up to have an account. And what MailGun allow you to do is allow you to send a total of 10,000 email for free every single month. If you do not have an account, go ahead and click the sign up button. I don't already do have an account. I'm gonna go ahead here and log in with my account. Once I go log in into my account, I need to go over wherever I see domain. This is where I'm going to be actually getting this value for domain. So once I go to domain here, by default, MailGun should give you a domain for testing purposes. However, if you'd like to move to a production ready state, you're going to need to have to upgrade in order for you to create a domain for production. But for testing purposes, this domain should be the only thing that I need in order for me to be able to work with this. And I copy this domain value and add it here. And there we go. This is where I was able to successfully get that value. But the question is, where can I get the API key? Well, in order to get the API key, I need to go over wherever you have your email and go over the account setting. And once you are inside the account setting, wherever you see the security tab, and if you go over the security, wherever it said private API key, this is your API key. Well, for mine, I'm going to go ahead to use that API key here. And once I do that, and I paste my API key in here. Now for security, for the security reason, do not use the same API key that I have. After this video, I'm going to go ahead and refresh it to get a new API key. So you should not use my same API key, otherwise it would not be working for you. And ladies and gentlemen, these are the two information that I was successfully able to get. But before we go ahead and run our code, there's one last thing we need to do. And the last thing, it is very, very important in order to get MailGun working. In order to do that last thing, I need to go wherever you have step number 3, and under wherever you are sending that email to. By default, MailGun for security reason doesn't allow you to spam any user or whenever you are into testing phase. Well, what that means is if you're testing your application, Nodejs doesn't allow you to send any email to anyone. In order to go ahead and let Nodejs know, hey, this is my personal email, I'd like to use this one for testing purposes, you need to copy that email and go back to MailGun. Whenever you are on MailGun, you need to go again to account setting. And over account setting, we're going to go over wherever you have authorized recipient. And what that means is you can configure the email that you'd like to receive the email on, just a way for MailGun to be able to believe that this is your email. And then you need to verify to be able to receive email for testing purposes so that you're not spamming any other user that are not ready to test your application. However, whenever you upgrade, deploy this one to production, you would never need to do that. It will be able to send email to anyone that add their email into your application. So once you also successfully invite that recipient, it should send you an email. And once you get that email, click on it and go here, type agree to go ahead and agree to be ready to test receiving email from MailGun, and click yes. And ladies and gentlemen, that should successfully verify you. And if you go back to MailGun, refresh it, you should be able to see the state change to verify. Now, however, this is very important. If you do not see this for the email that you are sending email to, make sure you do, because otherwise you would not be able to send email using the sandbox version. Okay, this is important. All right, so once this is out of the way, I go back now to my application, and all I need to do now is run my Node server application. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen, my email was successfully sent. And now if I go back to my email and go here, I should be able to see my email is being sent from MailGun, and there you go, I'm ready to go. If you go back to MailGun, they give you a dashboard, and the cool thing about MailGun is it is telling you how many email you were able to process, and how many were able to successfully deliver, and how many were able to drop, and how many were able to surprise. So the bottom line is you got this dashboard in the last 30 days that you can feel free to have an idea of how many emails that your application is actually sending to users, and so on, and ready to go. And ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, that is the end of the video.